So what really keeps world leaders and top executives up at night? Well, every year, a major report tries to answer that exact question. Today, we're going to dive into that report, but we're going to look at it through a very specific lens, the business landscape of Southern Europe.
And just so you know where all this is coming from, our entire analysis is based on the World Economic Forum's latest Global Risks Report. We're zeroing in on what it all means for businesses on the ground in places like Italy, Spain, Greece, and Portugal.
Right out of the gate, the report sets a pretty sobering tone. A full 57% of global leaders are bracing for a turbulent, even stormy decade ahead. Think about that. More than half. That single number is really the backdrop for everything else we're about to talk about.
Okay, so here's how we're going to connect the dots. We'll start with that big picture of a world on the precipice. Then we'll nail down the top global threats. From there, we'll zoom right in on Southern Europe's specific business realities, see how those global risks create local consequences, and then finally talk about what it actually takes to prepare for all this.
First things first, let's set the scene. The report paints a picture of a world that's kind of on the edge, where the things we used to count on for stability and cooperation are starting to look a little shaky.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, especially in the short term. In just the next 2 years, a full half of all the experts surveyed see the world as turbulent or stormy. Only a tiny 10% think things will be stable or calm. That level of immediate uncertainty, wow, that is a huge challenge for any business just trying to plan for next quarter, let alone next year.
All right, with that mood set, let's get a little more specific. What are the main threats that these experts are actually pointing to on the global stage?
So here they are, the top 5 global risks for the next 2 years. And I want you to look at number 1, geoeconomic confrontation. That one has shot up the rankings. After that, you've got armed conflict, extreme weather, social division, and of course, misinformation. But let's just pause on that top risk for a second, because we really need to understand what it means.
So what on earth is geoeconomic confrontation? Well, in simple terms, it's basically the weaponization of economic policy. We're talking about things like sanctions, trade controls, and investment bans being used not just for economic reasons, but as tools in a geopolitical power game. It's a world where trade itself becomes a battlefield.
Okay, now for what I think is the most fascinating part of this whole story. Let's see how this picture completely changes when we zoom in. We're leaving that 30,000-foot global view, and we're landing on the ground to see what business leaders in Southern Europe are actually worried about day in and day out.
In this table, this reveals a really interesting disconnect. While the global experts are all focused on geopolitics, look at the local realities. In Italy, the top concerns are about health and a lack of opportunity. In Spain, it's social division and labor shortages. For Greece, number 1 is extreme weather. And Portugal is pointing to an economic downturn. The threats here feel much more immediate, much more internal, and much more social, don't they?
So does that mean those big global risks are just irrelevant? Absolutely not. This next section is all about connecting those huge macro trends to the real-world impacts that are being felt on the ground right now in Southern Europe.
Remember that whole geoeconomic confrontation thing we just talked about? Well, here's where it really hits home. The risk of major supply chain disruptions has been climbing the ranks globally, and it's a direct consequence of that trend.
For Southern Europe, this is not an abstract idea. With its vital ports and its deep reliance on maritime trade, any little ripple in global shipping can become a tidal wave for the region's economy. It impacts everything from logistics to manufacturing.
And the report flags another major vulnerability. This quote puts it really bluntly. A lot of the critical infrastructure in developed nations is just old. And the bill for fixing it all is coming due, and it's going to be huge.
And here's where that global warming smacks right into local reality. Aging public infrastructure isn't just some line in a report. It's a top 5 documented risk for businesses in Italy, Spain, and Portugal. This isn't a problem for tomorrow. It's an operational headache today.
So here's the crucial takeaway, the real light bulb moment. The global risks aren't just happening in a vacuum. They are the fuel for these local fires. A global economic downturn becomes a lack of opportunity in Italy. Global polarization becomes the number 1 business risk in Spain, and the global climate threat, it becomes the primary concern in Greece. You see, they're two sides of the very same coin.
So, what in the world do we do with all this information? Well, that brings us to our final section. How do you actually prepare for a future that's defined by this very unique risk profile? So when you boil it all down, what's the ultimate takeaway for Southern Europe? It's this. The most immediate pains are internal, things like social cohesion, economic opportunity. But those big global mega risks are acting as powerful threat multipliers. They're pouring gasoline on those local fires. The path forward isn't about choosing which one to fight. It's about tackling local vulnerabilities while building up your defenses against those global shocks.
And that leaves us with this final massive question. As the world gets more competitive, more fragmented, the one-size-fits-all solution for resilience is basically gone. The real challenge now for business leaders and for policymakers is to forge a path that is uniquely tailored to the specific pressures and the specific strengths of this region. What does that path look like? That's the critical question for the years ahead.